Welcome to Practical Dream Wisdom. I'm your host, Debra Arlyn. This show is about getting grounded in harmony and growing through healing. Please join me as we tap into the rich source and inner wisdom that our dreams consistently deliver. Through dreamwork, you will find insights and answers to your deepest questions, receive guidance for any lingering doubts, and resolve unconscious conflicts. Together, we will elevate your intuition and increase self-trust while unlocking incredible wisdom from the inner visions and sacred symbols of your dreams. Get ready to start working with your dreams. The Practical Dream Wisdom Show starts now. All right, welcome back to the Practical Dream Wisdom Show, everybody. And thanks for tuning in this morning. I'm your host, Debra Arlyn. So excited to be back with you this week. And, if you've been listening over the last few weeks, we've been exploring how dream work can, in a very practical and real sense, help you with your relationships, help you make sense of the scary stress dreams and nightmares that show up out of the blue, it seems, as well as helping you unlock your intuition, right? At dream work, you have to go in, you have to self-reflect, and you have to spend time just with your own mind and your own emotional landscapes. And ultimately, this all leads to us growing and maturing and becoming the best versions of ourselves. And in case you are wondering, who's Debra and what does she do and why is she talking about dreams? The reason I'm so passionate about this is that I am an intuition expert and a dream expert, and I spend my days coaching and working with high-achieving leaders who are also spiritually curious, spiritually open, trying to tap into their highest potential. And I have tried so many things throughout my lifetime to unlock my potential. If you're watching me on video, you see I have my piano behind me. I'm a professional singer-songwriter, spent years in the music industry. I'm an entrepreneur. I've owned many businesses. So to be able to live authentically to myself, I've explored lots of self-help, and I always come back to dreams and working with our inner visions and essentially strengthening our intuition. And this is the key, right? The key to becoming our best selves is committing to new ways of being. And that brings me to today's episode, which is best tips for improving dream recall. And as a coach who's working with people around their dreams, the number one objection, the number one barrier to them really getting the most out of their dreams isn't the analysis. It isn't actually working with the dream. In fact, that part comes very naturally, it comes very intuitively. The language of dreams is symbolic, it's metaphorical. Once we start working with our dreams on a consistent basis, we find that it just starts to flow and our mind starts to open and we get a little ground under our feet and we make a lot of progress. Really, the barrier comes in the very first step, which is creating the habit of remembering your dreams, right? Because you can't work with a dream if you wake up and you don't remember it. So today's episode, we're going to break down the 3 best tips for helping you improve your dream recall so that you can start a consistent dream work practice and you can wake up in the morning excited to journal or record your dream and then set aside the time to work with it. But again, you have to make that commitment. You have to create that habit of being willing to prioritize remembering your dream first thing in the morning. So the first place that we want to look when we want to start a consistent dream work practice is our beliefs about who we are and our dreams. So tip number 1 is start noticing, or even, grab a pen and paper and start writing down your own beliefs about yourself and your dreams and how you and your dreams connect or don't connect. And I've worked with hundreds of clients, so I've noticed a pattern in the most common, self-limiting beliefs. And the number one thing that I hear from clients or potential clients is, "Oh, I can't remember my dreams. I'm just that person. I don't dream, and if I am dreaming, I don't remember." So if that's a resonating with you as a belief that you have about yourself, that you just don't remember your dreams, or maybe you think you don't dream at all, I want to start by saying there are very rare instances. It's a very small percentage of people that actually don't dream. And in fact, probably the leading cause of somebody who may actually not dream would be some sort of, accident or brain damage. There's something physically going on. But again, that's a very small percentage. So if you're, a regular healthy person, you most likely are dreaming. It's just that you haven't trained yourself to prioritize remembering the dream. Most likely your alarm goes off in the morning and you jump right into that automatic program, the habits we've already created for our daily routines of get up, get in the shower, or get up and go get some coffee, whatever that is, right? So most likely you are dreaming. It's just you have to create a new habit. So that belief of I can't remember my dreams, how do we work with that? So the best way to start, working with that belief, and really that belief is kind of as part of your identity. It's part of your self-concept, right? Anything that begins with the word I am, or I will, or I can't, you're just reinforcing a self-concept that maybe you're not even fully aware of how much it's limiting you. So the best way to get around that belief and overcome it is to set new intentions and create a new self-concept for yourself. Now, if you're hearing this and you're thinking, okay, this is getting really deep really fast, how is this a best tip to help me remember my dreams? I want to just bring you back in and say this is actually the most important piece. This is why we start here, examining our own beliefs about ourselves. If you are interested in psychology, depth psychology, or understanding human behavior, you will eventually find that what is true about us human beings is that everything we experience in our life, everything that we create or engage with or perceive, the stories that we create about our daily lives are all filtered through one thing and one thing only, and that's our self-concept. That's our sense of identity, who we believe we are, who we believe others are, and who we believe we're not, and who we believe other people are not, right? That informs, that is the filter, that is the sheen that is overlaying everything that we encounter and experience in life. So this is not a small thing. You do not want to skip this step. This is tip number one. Become really aware of your own beliefs. The second most common belief is, I don't have the time. And this is where I, as a coach, tend to get a little bit gritty and will really challenge my clients. And I'm going to really challenge anyone who's listening that feels like, oh God, I just don't have the time. The average screen time for someone living in America these days is over 7 hours a day. So if we're able to spend 7 hours a day staring and interacting with screens, surely we can dial that back a little bit and spend some time, setting intentions, grounding ourselves, prioritizing our sleep, and recording a dream first thing when we wake up in the morning. And in fact, you don't even have to get rid of your screen to do that. If you want to record your dream into your phone or in an audio recording app, I promise you, there is time. And that is just the number one kind of throwaway excuse that I will always discount. There is always time. We make time for the things that matter to us. No? So I can't remember my dreams. Well, you have to create a new self-concept. You have to set the intention, write it out 10 times a day, or as you're falling asleep, just say the affirmation, I am going to remember my dream. The words I am are the most powerful 2 words that you can ever say about yourself. So be very careful and very intentional about what you put after those words, I am. So set that intention, repeat that affirmation, create a new self-concept. I am going to remember my dream. I am going to gain wisdom from tonight's dream. I am going to wake up tomorrow and record my dream. Whatever starts fueling those juices inside that you feel the paradigm shift in yourself, that's what you want to repeat over and over. I don't have the time. You can make the time. If you really are interested in growing and getting familiar with your own mind and getting the practical wisdom and guidance from your own subconscious, You will find the time. And, I do this professionally and I do this almost every day for myself and my own personal journey. Truly, it doesn't even take that much time. It takes about as much time as you are excited to give it. So it can be as little as 10 minutes a day. You can spend an hour or so a day. It just depends on how much you're getting out of it and how willing you are to dive into this practice. This is a self-help practice. So if you're wanting to improve your life, if you're wanting to grow, if you're wanting to get healthier, if you're wanting to heal things in your life, this is a self-loving, self-healing, self-care practice. You can find time for that. And the third one that I hear often of a limiting belief that keeps people from really engaging with dream work is it's too hard. I don't get it. I don't understand. And again, this is kind of what I was saying earlier. The hardest part is creating the habit. Once you get into the rhythm, once you create the habit of waking up, recording your dream, and then spending some time with it, it's actually not hard. It's very intuitive. You're just spending internal time, looking at the dream, noticing how it makes you feel, making note of the situations and the people, noticing common themes and breaks. So, tip number one for how to improve dream recall. Number one, look at your beliefs. Write them out, or just if you're in the car driving or you're at work and you have a few minutes to yourself, just kind of notice, just ask yourself, what do I believe about myself and my ability to remember my dreams or my ability to prioritize dream work? There might be even more beliefs that you find, like dream work is pointless or it's not going to help me, whatever comes up, just sit with those beliefs without judging yourself. There's no need to judge yourself about what the beliefs are. They are what they are, and they're running on an automatic program. So it's actually a really good thing that you're taking note of them. And you don't have to try and reframe them or change them, or you just have to make an internal shift. You just have to decide for yourself, what kind of person are you going to be? Are you going to be somebody who remembers your dreams? And are you going to be somebody who takes the time out of their day to write it down and then reflect? And are you going to be somebody who maybe it is hard, maybe it is challenging, but is that going to stop you? Just because something's hard, just because you're, not fully versed in how to do dream work, don't let that stop you. Because as we know, the greatest leaps of growth and change in our life happen when we go straight into things that challenge us and feel hard. That's how we cultivate resilience and empowerment. Okay, so tip number one, figure out what your beliefs are about who you are and your dreams and your ability to incorporate dream work into your daily life to gain practical wisdom. Okay? All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we come back, we're going to dive into tip number two, which is getting motivated and becoming aware of the benefits of creating the habit of consistent dream work and dream recall. We'll be right back. Hang in there. All right, welcome back. You're listening to the Practical Dream Wisdom Show with me, Debra Arlyn, and we're talking about the best tips for improving dream recall. And we just talked about the need to examine our beliefs about who we are and can we remember our dreams? Do we have the time? Is this too hard? And how to set intentions and say affirmations to get in alignment with being the kind of people that are really interested in deep growth. So the second tip for how to improve your dream recall is to become aware of the benefits of prioritizing a dream reflection and a dream recall habit. And I don't know about you, but I don't tend to dive into things if I'm not motivated and I'm not inspired. And because we have so many things coming into our line of awareness every single day that is asking for our time, is asking for our attention, asking for our money, we want to be really clear about what am I going to get out of this? We tend to want to know, if I put the time and energy into something, what am I going to get out of it? So that's why benefits of dream work is tip number two, because if you can keep these in your line of vision and remain inspired and motivated, chances are you're going to be more consistent in your efforts. So I love talking about this because I don't think people realize, and in fact, the strongest feedback I get from the clients that I work with is I had no idea how much this was going to change my daily life. I had no idea all the benefits of moving into dream work would bring into my life. So I've got about 6 or 7 of them that I want to highlight for you guys. So the first one is one of the benefits of committing to a consistent dream work practice is giving up excessive alcohol. Um, if you're a high achieving person, if you've got a lot of demands on your time, if you are a leader or a business owner, or even if you're a mother at home with children and managing household stuff, you've probably realized that there is stress in life. And one of the ways that we've been conditioned to deal with the stress of our lives is to drink. And I personally gave up drinking alcohol at the start of COVID. And the reason you don't want to consume an excessive amount of alcohol, and I'm not talking about giving up like a glass of wine with dinner. I'm talking about drinking to the point of a buzz or drinking to the point of being inebriated and falling asleep under the influence of alcohol. That right there is going to disconnect you from your dreams. It's going to give you really bizarre dreams, and you probably won't remember them correctly because your mind's not clear. So when you give up drinking alcohol, we all know the benefits of this. You have more clear-mindedness, less calories, and you're kind of stepping back from what I call self-soothing, right? Because drinking is a way we kind of soothe the stress, but it's really just working with the symptom of stress. It's not getting to the root of stress. Your dreams are going to reveal to you the root of your stress if you can give up something that kind of just soothes the stress of the day. So less alcohol intake, lots of benefits there. The second one, and it almost feels so obvious to say, but it has huge benefits that our modern busy lives have kind of forgotten about, is more sleep. Okay, guys, I could really go off on this because I'm really passionate about this. When we do not prioritize our sleep, we are chronically fatigued. We're not giving our nervous systems a chance to self-regulate. So we're already waking up dysregulated. And most of the time, we're not getting sleep because we're watching screens before bed, or we're consuming too much caffeine, or we're ruminating, we're fixating in our minds about the next day. We're not present in the moment. So if you want to have a helpful dream work practice, you want to get more sleep. You got to set a sleep routine. You got to know when you're going to bed. You got to set that intention. And you got to know when you're going to wake up. And you got to know how many hours of sleep you're going to get in between. It's like so simple, but yet because our lives are so busy and complicated, I find that this is probably the most overlooked step and most overlooked benefit of dream work. I highly recommend that you get between 8 and 10 hours of sleep a night. And this is backed by lots of sleep studies and science that are consistently telling us that lack of sleep is leading to more illnesses, more diseases, more anxiety. Okay, so being a self-regulated person means we're getting our rest, and we know the difference between being on and off, and we understand that turning off is a big part of our job here as human beings. We can't be on 24/7. We have to take a break. We have to go into our rest. So more sleep, tons of benefits from more sleep so that you can remember your dreams better. The third one is you're learning something new. And even if you've been doing dream work for years, like I've been doing consistent dream work now for about 3 to 4 years, you're always learning something new. Your curiosity remains alive. You're stimulating your brain, you're stimulating your mind with new ways of being and new information. And neuroscience, people who study the brain, are constantly telling us that the way to expand and be healthier and more vibrant people is to stop hitting the same neural pathways over and over, but to create new ones, right? And the way we create new neural pathways is learning something new, getting curious, having an open mind, having a mind geared towards innovation, curiosity, imagination. So learning something new, first of all, just learning the art of dream recall and dream reflection And then learning something new about yourself with every dream that you engage with is going to expand and open your mind and make you so much more healthy and more vibrant in your day-to-day activities. And I've mentioned this before, but the fourth one is less screen time. Because if you really want to get serious about getting wisdom from your dreams, and that's the whole point, right? We're not doing this so that we can just brag about, yeah, I work with my dreams and I'm awesome. We're doing this because we know that our dreams hold vital, very important information and guidance for us, wisdom that it wants us to apply to our everyday life. So when you get serious about this, you're going to put the phone down, you're going to put the screen down, and you're going to spend some time just with yourself, not being stimulated by an external source, but prioritizing your rest and your reflection and meditation and journaling. So less screen time is fantastic for all of us. And this last one is actually like a really big one. I'm really excited to dive into this. One of the biggest benefits of consistent dream work is less judgment and less shame. Now, that means less judgment and shame towards ourselves and less judgment and shame towards other people. Now, you may be wondering, how does consistent dream work help me, be less judgmental and feel less shame and criticism in my life? Well, you may have noticed that dreams are kind of bizarre. And sometimes we have dreams that blur the lines of what we in our waking life would say is ethical, moral, acceptable, right? There's so much shame involved with dream work, especially if you have, conditioning towards being kind of a perfectionist, or, you really want to be a person of integrity, or you have strong moral guidelines. Dreams don't play by the same rules that you and I play by in our day-to-day life, and that's actually a good thing. Now, dreams, of course, are not literal. So the things that are happening in our dreams that scare us or gross us out or make us feel like bad people, they're not literal. It's metaphorical. So first of all, that's a great way to dial down the judgment and shame about what you dream about or what's happening in your dreams, just knowing that it's not literal. But then also, you have to learn to approach your dreams with neutrality, meaning you have to drop your projections about your own dreams in order to get that gold out of them. In order to get that practical wisdom and guidance out of your dreams, you can't project onto them. You can't say, that was bad, I'm a bad person, I don't want to think about that. And in fact, pushing away your dreams is only going to increase your own judgments and criticism. It's only going to increase and reinforce your already existing projections and assumptions. And if you just live your life every day with the same projections and the same assumptions and the same, like, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad, you're just going to create the same patterns over and over and over. Now, if those patterns are working for you, then all the more power to you. But I find that most of the time those patterns are not working for people, especially at midlife. They find that the conditioning of their younger life no longer applies to midlife and beyond. The rules change. Things get different. We have to find new ways of being to survive this big midlife transition. So, less judgment, less shame, less pushing away our own minds, and really learning how to work with a story of a dream without fear, without shame, without projection, and without going, I don't want to look at this, just wanting to push it away. You have to learn to sit with things, if they make you uncomfortable. And in fact, I talked about this on a previous episode about nightmares. The dreams that make us uncomfortable are the most important dreams because they're trying to get our attention. In fact, they're trying to trigger us a little bit so that we'll go, why do you keep showing up this way? What do I need to know? Okay, so let's recap those benefits. There are massive benefits to dream work. Less alcohol intake, getting more sleep, being more regulated, getting our rest, learning something new, creating new neural pathways in the brain, gearing ourselves towards curiosity and innovation. Especially if you're an entrepreneur or a high functioning leader, you are always adapting, always innovating. Learning something new is great. Less screen time and less judgment and shame. Okay, so first two tips of how to improve your dream recall. Become aware of your beliefs and become aware of the benefits. And I'm curious, which one of those benefits resonate with you and inspire you the most? Is it giving up alcohol? Is it getting more sleep? I don't know a single woman on the planet that doesn't want more sleep. Is it learning something new? Is it decreasing your screen time? Is it becoming a less judgmental person and having more empathy? All of these really excite me, and hence why I do this every single day. And I love to see the transformation that happens in clients when they start to experience these benefits. It's like the vibrancy returns. The biggest challenge I think people are facing today is burnout. Life is stressful. There's so much going on. We're being pulled in so many directions, and we're stressed out and we're burnt out. And dream work is like this weird back alley way of reinvigorating ourselves with vibrancy and healthy habits. These are habits, right? Dream work is a lifestyle. Hashtag it. It's going to make you feel so much better about yourself. Okay. So now we're going to dive into the third tip for how to improve dream recall, which is understanding the best practices so that you can even start. Like, how do you even start creating this habit? We kind of touched on it earlier with getting aware of your beliefs and getting aware of the benefits. But now, how do we take action? How do we execute? What does that look like for us? And I want to pause here and mention that what I'm about to talk about is included in my free ebook, 7 Ways to Unlock Practical Dream Wisdom, which you can go download right now for free. And everything that I'm about to talk about is included in the book. But the book has so much information for you guys. So go to debraarlyn.com and you can access it from the homepage, or you can go to debraarlyn.com/free ebook. And all you have to do is put in your name and email and hit confirm, and the ebook will be automatically downloaded for you. And you'll see on the free ebook page of my website some reviews and feedback that I've gotten from people that are working with the book. And it details the best practices. So if you have a chance today and you're starting to get excited and motivated to work with your dreams, go download that book. It's free. I put in so much information for you, and there's contact information in there as well. So if you start working with your dreams and using the book, but a question comes up, you can shoot me an email or send me a dream, and I could maybe even interpret it on air for you. So 7 Ways to Unlock Practical Dream Wisdom is my free ebook. It's my gift to anyone listening that wants to dive in, and I want to fully support you in that. So looking at the best practices to begin a consistent dream recall and dream reflection habit. So the first thing is you want to go buy a journal or a notebook or something that you can have by your bed with a pen and a pencil, so that you get in the habit of rolling over in the morning and recording your dream before you even get out of bed. Now, I'll be honest, I break this rule every once in a while, and every time I do, I regret it. When you don't record your dream first thing in the morning, things start to get a little fuzzy. You start to forget, the timeline of the dream. And at the end of the day, there's no bad way or wrong way to work with your dream. All dream information is helpful. But if you really want to really understand the structure of dreams and your particular dream language, because everybody's dreams speak to them in their own unique way, remembering them and recording them first thing in the morning is your best start, right? It's fresh, and you want to write out as many details as possible. So the first thing, the best practice is start a dream journal. Go buy a journal or a diary or your favorite paper. If you absolutely do not want to handwrite out your dreams, you can record them into an audio recording app on your phone. Most of us keep our phones right by our beds at night. You can just speak the dream into the recorded app and listen back to it. I have a great app where I can speak into it, and then it'll actually translate it into written word for me. So I can just copy and paste it into an online document. So there's no right or wrong way, but the best way is to have something right by your bed, and first thing in the morning, jot it down. And when you're writing it down, this is the second part about journaling your dream. you want to remember the dream in first person. So even though it feels like it wasn't real or it just happened or it's something that happened in the past, you want to record the dream in first person. So give an example like I was, or no, sorry, that's the wrong way. I am walking up the stairs. I am with my best friend from high school. We are headed to, the basketball game. We're sitting in our seats when a loud noise goes off, right? So, first person, present tense, as if the dream is happening and unfolding right now. And again, the reason we do that is just like when we're setting the intention and working with affirmations that start with I am, what we're really doing is we're inserting our self concept into the dream. We're treating it as if it's a real life thing that we're going through. Because then the stakes matter, right? If this is a real experience that we're having in that moment, it comes alive for us and it starts getting the juices flowing. And our minds don't know, by the way, this blew my mind when I learned this. Our minds don't know the difference between what is real and what is not real. Whatever we put into our mind is real to our mind, which is another reason why I'm not a huge fan of horror films and things with lots of violence or whatever, because our minds see it and engage with it, and it's real to our minds, even if we're trying to tell ourselves it's just entertainment and it doesn't matter. Same with dreams, right? You want to put yourself right in the lead character role of your dream, present tense, because then it feels real and you are really engaging with it. You're really interacting with it as if it's a moment in time, because it really is. You just dreamed it. You were just there in one sense. So get a journal or find an app on your phone and record your dream first thing in the morning. If you have to get up and do something, just make sure you set time not too long later in the day to recall the dream in present tense as if it's happening right now. All right, we're going to take a pause there. We're going to come back. I'm going to dive into more best practices to begin better recall of your dreams. So hang tight. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Practical Dream Wisdom. I'm so thankful that you're tuning in and hanging out this morning with us. I'm Debra Arlyn, and if you haven't picked up on this yet, I'm just a geek and a freak for dreams and dream work and improving our lives and creating more vibrancy for ourselves by prioritizing a very important self-healing and self-care practice, which is remembering our dreams and reflecting on our dreams and creating healthier habits, healthier sleep habits, healthier lifestyle habits. And before the break, we started talking about what are the best practices to even begin this. And we went over getting a journal, finding a way to recall your dreams, making sure that you try and record the dreams first thing in the morning, maybe before you even get out of bed, and recording them in present tense, first person, as if they're happening right now. So naturally, this leads us to another great practice, which is creating a ritual, right? Creating a nightly ritual that sets you up for success for the morning ritual of recalling and recording and remembering. So I'm going to give you a little insight into my favorite nightly rituals. And I want to say that when I was younger and I was in my early 30s, my nightly rituals were just a hot mess. I was not prioritizing anything. I was just kind of living life and going through the day until I felt so tired that I wanted to crash. So, prioritizing dream work and prioritizing self-care has radically changed my life and radically changed my evening routine. And I've witnessed this happen in my clients, and they become so much healthier and so much happier and more whole. So, this is not a little thing. Creating a nightly ritual to set yourself up for success in the morning is key. It's key to being a successful, happy person who's healthy and regulated and clear and grounded. So, my favorite nightly rituals include taking a bath with my favorite essential oils and magnesium in them, and not bringing my phone into the bath, but being in the bath and just allowing my body to relax. And then after the bath, I like to get my favorite lotions, my favorite hand creams, and just kind of moisturize and hydrate myself. And then on my best nights, I like to read before I go to bed. And this is a big part of the ritual. And, you may have noticed everyone, from the time we're in elementary and all the way through education, everyone's saying how important it is to read and get kids reading, and reading is so great. And it wasn't until I dove into dream work that I understood why reading was so helpful. And I want to just share this. The reason that reading is so important, especially before we go to bed, as opposed to, looking at a screen or watching a movie, is that when we read, we're activating our third eye, right? Because you're reading something, but you're also imagining it. You're putting yourself in that landscape of the book, of the story. And even if it's like a self-help book, you're imagining yourself executing what the book is telling you to do and what it's talking about. Activating your third eye and activating your imagination is like priming the pump for your dreams. Our dreams come to us in our inner mind, right? Through our third eye, through our sixth and seventh chakras. So reading is almost like practice for dreaming. It's using our imagination, and it's noticing the pictures and the stories and the visuals that are showing up in our mind, and it helps prime that pump so that when you wake up in the morning, your dream feels like it's a book you read. It feels like it's a story you read. So, creating a ritual that includes some reading before bed is going to do wonders for your ability to remember dreams. And I'm not talking about remembering dreams like remembering the story of the dream. I'm talking about remembering the pictures, the movies, the sights, the sounds, the inner vision that you experienced in your dream. That's what you want to remember. That's what's really important. And in fact, talking about dream recall, people tend to get kind of uptight about this, right? They want to remember things perfectly. They want to remember the storyline, the timeline. And if you hear anything from this episode, I want you to hear this. When it comes to dream recall, what you really want to prioritize remembering is the vision itself. I cannot tell you how many times a day I am replaying the visions and the scenes of my own dreams or of clairvoyant readings that I'm doing, and how every time I replay the scene, I'm not thinking in my head, and then that happened, and then that happened, and that's what that means. I'm just immersing myself in the landscape. I'm immersing myself in the scene. I'm allowing my third eye to just replay it and replay it and replay it. And I'm noticing what shifts inside of myself. I'm noticing what I respond to emotionally. I'm noticing what I think is cool about the dream. Like, wow, like I was in Paris. How cool is that? Or this dream was in a really odd, funky hotel, and I'm noticing the details. Like, I'm just curious about it. So, that's the most important part of dream recall. Don't try and get it perfectly dialed into a story that you can just repeat and tell people. Sit with the inner vision, sit with the story, awaken your third eye, right? And practice noticing things in your own mind without reacting, without judgment, and without trying to get it perfectly. And I think people find that a little strange at first. And in fact, I usually have to walk my clients through getting comfortable with that, because most of us are in situations every day where we feel we're kind of on edge, right? And we're either having to perform at work or take care of things at home. And so it's kind of like, when am I going to have time to replay scenes in my mind? But I promise you, you're going to start noticing the daydreams that you naturally have when your mind starts to wander away. Just bring in a dream. Bring in the dream from last night and replay that scene, and just notice how it washes over you and washes over your psyche, and begins to do its powerful work by just being willing to show up and replay that scene in your mind. So I can't emphasize this enough. Part of your evening ritual should include some reading to activate that third eye, activate the imagination, practicing, seeing things in your mind's eye, priming that pump so that when you wake up in the morning, you will remember the visual, amazing landscape that you were just in your dream. So create a ritual that works for you. And of course, that ritual includes a set bedtime. And I know that feels really icky to us adults who, had bedtimes growing up and had all these rules about when we had to be up and go to sleep. But this is part of adulting, right? Hashtag adult life. Like being able to self-manage ourselves, to keep ourselves regulated is a huge part of being a successful adult. So whatever bedtime feels good to you, that is going to give you enough sleep. For me, and I can't say that my partner agrees with this all the time, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30 at the latest on weekday nights. And I used to fight with that, but I've just realized that going to bed between 8:30 and 9:30 is the sweet spot for me. It gives me about 9 to 10 hours of sleep, and my body's ready to rest at that point. And every time I push that a little bit, I always pay for it the next day. So pick a bedtime. That's part of the nighttime routine as well, knowing when it's time to turn off and go to sleep. There's two more best practices. I'm trying to decide. I think this next one is really important, actually. I want to speak to this first. So we've kind of been talking about, beliefs around who we are in our dreams, the benefits of dream work. And that leads us to, do we trust ourselves and do we trust our dreams? Like if we're going to be the kind of people that prioritize this in our life, or at least try it, give it a solid try and see how it affects and improves our waking lives. We have to trust our dreams, right? Because the dream is what we work with. Once we have the dream recorded, once we have all the details in our mind and we're replaying them, we have to trust that this is going to actually be helpful in our lives. So it's always good to remember, as a best practice, to remind yourself, why are dreams important? Why am I looking to my own dreams for help and guidance? And in the simplest way that I can say it is that dreams come to you from your own subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind is responsible for 95% of what happens in our day-to-day lives. I've been talking about that word habit, creating habits. Our subconscious mind stores our habits. It keeps things running on an automatic program that we're not even consciously aware of. We're going through our day, we're in the routine, we're running the program. And it really starts to sink in when you start to become aware of your daily automatic routine. You start to realize, I'm kind of doing the same thing every day. I'm kind of thinking the same thoughts every day. Sure, there's a little variety here and there, but the subconscious automatic programs are firing on all cylinders every day. So our dreams are coming from that place inside of us, and the subconscious mind is the part of us that is connected to the universal mind. And there's so many terms and ways to describe what I'm talking about here. So when I say universal mind, some people might recognize that as God. Some people might recognize that as source or universe. Some people might recognize that as pure awareness, pure consciousness. Whatever your favorite term is, what I'm talking about is the universal mind, meaning all that ever is and all that ever was, the higher power, the higher consciousness that is active and alive and flowing through all things, including you and I. And when we're doing our daily routine and in our waking lives, we don't always tune into that higher power, right? We're busy, we're distracted. But that's why going to sleep is so important. We're turning off the waking mind. We're turning off the to-dos and tasks. We're getting quiet. We're getting regulated, and we're going within, and we're starting to communicate through our subconscious mind with the collective consciousness that wants what's best for us. And this is why you can trust your dreams. It's okay to say you don't believe in God. It's okay to say maybe God's a mean person up in the sky. But how is that helping your life, right? How is that helping you feel safe in life? How is that giving you hope? When actually the truth of the matter is that a consciousness that exists in you and me and in all things is at its foundation very good. It's very pro-life. It wants us to grow. It wants us to thrive. It wants us to recognize our own inner power, recognize the interconnectedness of all things. And it's starting to send messages through our dreams to us to help us make sense of who we are and what's happening or what's happened in the past and how to reconcile that and how to move forward, how to have better relationships, how to have better self-worth. Like anything that's holding you back in life is going to start showing up in your dreams. It's going to start addressing your own inner blocks and barriers. It's going to help you understand the state of your own mind. So that's why you can trust your dreams. So a big part of the best practice of dream work is sitting with that knowledge, sitting with that empowerment of my dreams are here to help me. My dreams are coming from source. My dreams are coming from a place that is hard for me to access in my waking life unless I set aside a lot of time and intention to do it. My dreams are here to help me heal. They're here to help me grow. And you can trust that. So whatever you want to incorporate into your dream ritual to help prep your mind to be excited to go to bed and excited to dream and trust what comes through in your dreams, you want to add that in. That could just be, saying affirmations. It could be reading something that reinforces that. Could be journaling, which leads me to the final best practice tip, which is something called dream incubation. It's kind of a funny word, but what that means is that as you're lying in bed and as you're getting ready to go to sleep, you're gonna set the intention that you and your dream are actually partnering on something really important, that you and your dream are going to have a conversation that night. And so dream incubation is when you ask your dream to help you with something specific, right? So a lot of my clients are people who are, in the corporate world or they're running their own businesses, but they've kind of hit a plateau. They're not really fulfilled in their life. They're not really sure if they should stay in their career, if they should take a leap of faith and start a business, or if they should leave their business and go back to work. They're also facing a lot of choices in their family life and in their relationships. There's a lot of conflict. Perhaps they're, blending families and meeting all the ways that interrupts, daily lives and patterns. There's so many things that people are navigating in their life. So you want to get really clear about where in your life would you love your dreams to help you? And you want to ask your dream to show up that night and help you with that specific problem or obstacle. So as you're laying in bed, you can say, I would love help on what to do about my meeting next week, or I would love help on how to help my child do better at school, or I would love help on how to lose weight and keep it off this time. And it will blow your mind how your dream will hear that request and it will meet you in that space. It'll start speaking to that problem and giving you a story and a message and a beautifully symbolic dream that actually speaks to the heart of the problem you're asking for help with. This is why dream work is so powerful. It's a self-healing mechanism. It's you partnering with your subconscious mind, partnering with source and the universal mind to solve your real problems, to overcome real barriers that are keeping you stuck, keeping you frustrated, keeping you stressed out. So, best practices to begin dream work, let's quickly review. Get a journal, get some paper, or find your favorite app on your phone and prioritize writing down whatever you can remember from your dream. And it doesn't have to be a whole thing. It's okay if you wake up in the morning and all you remember is, I am in a room and there's a statue. The Statue of Liberty was in the corner. Okay, one scene, one symbol, one thing from a dream. That's it. That's all you have to remember. That's all you have to work with. You don't have to remember every dream and the full story of the dream. That's really important to remember. I once had a client who said that she could never remember dreams. And so we started doing the work. And the very first dream she had, she woke up and all she could remember was a bald eagle flying straight at her. And we got so much out of that dream. She was blown away. So write it out first thing in the morning, whatever you can remember. Limit your alcohol. Create an awesome evening routine that sets you up for success. Set your bedtime. Make sure you follow that bedtime. Trust your dreams. Get excited to partner with them. They're like the best coach, therapist that you could ask for. And go to bed asking for help with something specific. those are the best practices to begin. And for sure, go download my free ebook. I've got even more information in there for you. Go to debraarlyn.com/free ebook, put in your name and your email, and you'll get the book automatically. Start working with your dreams, creating healthier habits, creating a self-concept of somebody who really cares and prioritizes this aspect of their life and their inner life, and change your life starting today, starting with your dreams tonight. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm Debra Arlyn. So excited to support you in this journey. And we will see you next time on April 24th with the next episode of Practical Dream Wisdom. Take care, everybody. Hi, I'm Debra Arlyn, the host of Practical Dream Wisdom, and be sure to tune in every second and fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio, where we have been unraveling the magic of dreams in a practical, enjoyable, and accessible way. Nearly 26 years of our lives are spent sleeping and dreaming. This is an evolutionary necessity and an invaluable self-healing and self-empowering practice for the body, mind, and soul, not to be dismissed or overlooked. For more information, visit my website, www.debraarlyn.com.